Cái máy bay không lực bây giờ mới đến nha các bạn. Máy bay bây giờ mới đến là những người tham gia đang chờ đợi tổng thống Donald Trump bước xuống máy bay. Có này nhìn máy bay hoành tráng không? Ok, tổng thống Trump đã xuất hiện rồi nha các bạn. Ok, tổng thống Trump và bắt đầu buổi phát biểu. Ông nói là bây giờ chúng ta chỉ còn 42 ngày nữa là tới ngày bầu cử rồi nghe các bạn. Pennsylvania. Chúng ta sẽ đi bảo vệ công ăn việc làm, gia đình của chúng ta. Và nhớ rằng nghe các bạn, chúng ta đặt người Mỹ lên hàng đầu. Đây là cuộc bầu cử rất quan trọng trong lịch sử của chúng ta. Chúng ta thấy được sự xấu xa của Trung Quốc. Trung Quốc đã tạo ra Covid-19 thì họ phải dọn dẹp. Và các bạn sẽ thấy là năm tới nền kinh tế của chúng ta sẽ là nền kinh tế tốt nhất. Tôi dự đoán là sẽ là rất tốt cho năm tới. Tôi rất là tự tin. Dưới sự chính quyền của tôi thì sẽ là một nền độc lập và kinh tế rất là phát triển.
It's a big part of your economy. It's energy. It's just a tremendous part. But I was in Texas 2 weeks ago.
Tôi tới Texas 2 tuần trước. Và ở đó tôi thấy là dầu mỏ, súng và Chúa Trời.
It's too close to call. We don't know. Then boom, the polls close. They say Trump won, Trump won, Trump won. We won a lot. And
chúng ta đã chiến thắng rất là nhiều.
And I won Pennsylvania because of you. I won Pennsylvania, and you had your best year. So I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work. And I think we're going to win a lot. Don't forget, last time I came in, I said I was going to give you the tax cuts, the regulation cuts.
Và tôi sẽ là cắt giảm thuế cho các bạn.
had I not won. But I said I was going to do all these things, so it's tougher. Now I've done everything I said and more. I've done more. I've done more than I said.
Tôi đã làm rất là nhiều việc cho các bạn.
I know we're doing really well based on, we came in with a lot of you great congressmen. I said, how are we doing? They said, you're going to win it by a lot. But we better win it. We got to go out. We got to vote.
Và chúng ta phải đi ra ngoài để đi bầu vào ngày 3 tháng 11 tới.
You have no idea how big an energy. You know how big you are in energy. People don't think of Pennsylvania that way. Do you have any idea? And as a nation, we're the biggest in the world by far, not even close. And we are energy independent. Think of that.
Chúng ta là một đất nước độc tự chủ và đầy năng lượng.
All of the people that took advantage of us for so many years, we now don't have to be in other parts of the world. We're there perhaps to help allies. We're there perhaps to help good people. But we're not there because we need their energy, because we need their oil. Instead, we're the dominant energy producer. We're going to keep it that way. We're going to always have it that way. This, by the way, our opponents, they don't want petroleum products, okay? They want wind. Let's open up wind. Let's have some wind, and every once in a while the wind will blow, and you'll produce a couple of things, and then you can close down your plant for the rest of the season. You can watch those birds fly out of the sky. Gee, I always say it's a bird graveyard under the window. Doesn't have the power, doesn't have the staying power. You see what's happening in California? Blackouts, rolling blackouts. How would you like that in Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? Darling, what's wrong? I can't watch Trump on television. Investment in your state's history. And that was all made possible by our pro-energy policies. And we've done it a lot in Louisiana. We're building some of the largest plants you've ever seen, largest in the world. And it's incredible, all related to energy. But your security and your jobs are in very grave peril because the radical left maniacs, they don't want to have anything to do with energy. They don't want anything to do with, they have different concepts, right?
Nhà cánh tả thì họ có những cái định nghĩa khác nhau và
it's crazy. Thought of by AOC plus 3, you know AOC? Not a good student. Not good at anything, but she's got a good line of crap, I'll tell you. She's got a hell of a line. And she's got them, she's radical left, but she's not as bad as some of them. How about Omar of Minnesota? We're going to win the state of Minnesota because of her, they say. He's telling us how to run our country. How did you do where you came from? How is your country doing? They're going to she's going to tell us, she's telling us how to run our country. And you know what? The Democrats in Congress, you have to see what they're doing. Their stance on Israel, it's like a whole different world. It's like from 10 years ago, it's like a different world. And we want to keep our world the way it was and the way it's going to be. We've got the greatest country on earth, and we're going to keep it that way. We don't need socialists, and we don't need communists telling us how to run our country. I do this every night, and a lot of times it's a waste. I did it last night. Did you see the crowd we had last night? We were in a great place, Ohio.
Tối qua tôi đã có một buổi vận động ở Ohio rất là tốt.
They don't like showing. Show the crowd. And this is an honor, let me tell you.
Và truyền thông cánh tả không dám đưa ra những cái hình ảnh đám đông ủng hộ tôi.
Look, I used to think there was a difficulty like it was a new camera that can't turn. But then whenever there was like a problem, like there'd be a little
Cho mượn 20
argument,
đồng Nguyễn Trúc trả cho.
some
Nè.
kind of an anti-Trump person, you see that much, trying to bring it on, but you don't see it much. You know what? It's dangerous. It's dangerous. But you know, I'd see the camera would never move, but ever when there's something like a little negative happening, that thing would turn around like a pretzel. And I said, oh, it does move, but they never want to show the crowds. They never. Last night, now I went home and I tell you this, I go home all the time. First lady, how'd you like the crowd? Sir, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. But I didn't see it, Donald. I didn't see it. Sometimes you're going to Mr. President, but she's only kidding, believe me. She's only kidding. Has she been a great first lady, right? Been a great first lady. And very popular. She's really done a great job and she works hard. You know, we have some great people here tonight. I brought certain members of my family, but I'm...
Bạn biết không, tối nay có những người rất là tốt đã tham dự cái cuộc vận động ngày hôm nay. Họ làm việc rất là chăm chỉ.
I don't know how it looked, but the sound was phenomenal. Okay, it sounded like a Penn State football game, like a Steelers football game. You know, you can't disguise it. You ever see Sleepy Joe with the little circles? Right there?
Các bạn thấy Joe buồn ngủ đi vòng vòng không?
So far away, and then he comes up with the mask. He's like 100 yards from the nearest human being. He's got a mask. He feels good about the mask. I wonder, in the debate, it'll be him and I on the stage. Is he going to walk in with a mask?
Và tuần sau cái cuộc tranh luận giữa tôi và ông ta là có thể là ông ta phải...
I mean, honestly, what the hell did he spend all that money on the plastic surgery if he's going to cover it up with a mask? Seriously, the whole deal. Now, I think he'll come in with a mask. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, the question is, will he leave it on during the debate? Because it's a little hard, and I'm all for masks. When you need them, I'm all. But when you're making a speech and the nearest person's like where you are, and you're on a stage all by yourself, and then he had a habit of taking it off and it hangs down on his ear as he's speaking. He feels it makes him feel comfortable. And you know, honestly, whatever makes you feel good is okay with me. But it'll be interesting. We're going to have a big rating on that. And, you know, he's been doing it all his life. He's been doing it for 47 years, and I've just started doing this stuff. But, you know, I'm just thinking, but I did more in 47 months than he did in 47 years.
Tôi làm tổng thống gần 4 năm mà tôi làm còn tốt hơn ông ta đã gần làm 40 năm.
That's actually true. We did a lot of negative stuff too. You have to deduct that out. When asked if there would be any place for fossil fuels, including coal, fracking, in a Biden administration, Joe replied, no, we would make sure that it's all eliminated. All of a sudden he gets the nomination. You know, he's been trying to get the nomination for decades. He finally and that was prime time for him, which was never great. And he never got more than 1%. We told him, remember I called him, his first nickname was 1% Joe. And frankly, had Elizabeth Warren been loyal to her philosophy, which is radical left, socialism, perhaps communism, I don't know, perhaps. It's verging on communism, right? But had she been loyal, she would have left, she would have quit, she had no chance, she was out, Pocahontas, she was gone. Remember I said, I have more Indian blood in me than you have, and I have none. And I'd love to have some, but I don't happen to have any. And then she choked, and she went out and got a test, and she announced she had 1,024th, right? 1,000. That means, like, I said it last night, That means around 700 or 800 years ago, somewhere there was a little bit of a relationship going. That's okay. 700-800 years ago, maybe. What a phony she is, huh? Isn't she terrible? And now we're going to pick a great woman, any one of the five that I told you, but any one of the women that we have, they're all...
Rồi bây giờ tôi sẽ chọn một vị thẩm phán để thay thế cho bà thẩm phán Viet đã mất vào thứ Bảy này, và bất kỳ một ai đó là một người phụ nữ, tôi sẽ ứng cử một người phụ nữ cho vị trí đó. Và có ai ở đây nếu mà tôi chọn một người đàn ông không? Tôi sẽ tuyên bố vào ngày 5 giờ chiều vào ngày thứ Bảy này.
We have great support from the Republican Party, tremendous support. It's never been this unified before, ever, ever. In the fake impeachment, we had 196-0 Republican support, and we had 52.5 to a half in the Senate. Who was the half? I can't imagine. I can't, but he was very good today, I have to tell you. Now I'm happy. Thank you, Mitt. Thank you.
Cảm ơn Mitt. Thống đốc của tiểu bang Pennsylvania.
That's basically saying, you know what that is? There'll be no more oil, there'll be no more gas, there'll be no more nothing, there'll be no more industry, there'll be no more country. That's what it's saying, really. And that would instantly shut down all fracking and all mining immediately in Pennsylvania, sending your jobs overseas, sending your money to somebody else, not you. And I'll keep your jobs in Pennsylvania where they belong.
Tôi sẽ giữ công việc cho các bạn ở tiểu bang Pennsylvania.
But I can say the same because you are really big in energy, and I can say the same thing to you as I say in Texas. So they don't want oil, they don't want fracking, right? They don't want the energy that we know that powers these massive plants, because the other stuff is wonderful. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. So they don't like oil. They don't like the gas. They don't like God and religion. Churches are closed. How about these states? You know, they still...
Đó là điều giống như ở Texas, là những người dân chủ không thích dầu mỏ, không thích Chúa Trời hay sao vậy?
Are your churches still closed? They're still closed. They're doing it for a reason. By the way, November 4th, they'll announce we've decided to open up. Okay? They're trying to make our numbers as bad as possible. So California is closed, Pennsylvania is closed, North Carolina is closed, Michigan is closed. That's another beauty right there. Michigan's closed. And then they have these fake ballots, millions and millions of ballots. By the way, when you see shenanigans, please report it to your authorities, okay? The real authorities. They're watching, and the authorities are watching. But please report it. But when you look at it, really, it's amazing. And they're trying to make our numbers look bad. But even with numerous closed states, and you notice also law and order, right? Law and order. The red states, the Republican states, they're working great. Record low crime, record low. But Democrat-run states, you look at Chicago, you look at New York.
Đảng Dân Chủ quản lý những cái tiểu bang như Chicago, rất là lộn xộn, bạo lực.
But he did a great job. New York was in big trouble. He came in and he just was tough, smart, and it became the safest big city. And now we have a man where some categories of crime were up 300%. He fired 1,000. He fired a lot of police. I guess $1 billion a year worth of police, worth of great police, firemen, and women. It's a terrible thing. I love that place so much, and it's so sad to see what's happening to New York. We're going to make a little bit of a play for New York. You know, in theory, the Democrats automatically win New York. But I do phenomenally in most parts, and then one part, it's automatic. But I can't imagine that particular part is going to be very happy. So we're going to make a play for New York. With Pennsylvania, I don't have to make a play. We've got
The belly, butt, hips, and thighs. It's just hormonal waking.
We don't have to. This is a great... You know, for years, though, Pennsylvania was a place that Republicans just didn't win. And for many years, everybody thought they were...
Qua những hàng năm thì Pennsylvania, đảng Dân Chủ không thể thắng được ở bang Pennsylvania. Và chúng ta đã chiến thắng.
We saved this deal, so many different things. But Pennsylvania is the home of American energy. Think of it that way. And this has taken place over a very short period of time. Also, the birthplace of a thing called the American Constitution, right?
Chúng ta bảo vệ hiến pháp của Hoa Kỳ.
And to uphold our Constitution as written, as opposed to as conceived by some radical left judge. I will soon be announcing that nominee. You're going to love it. You're going to be so happy. If you don't love it, don't vote for me, okay? If you don't like it, my opponent refuses to release a list of justices. You know, I was told that a big thing when I was running last time, nobody really knew me. They knew me very well. We had great success at The Apprentice and in business, and it was great. But they never knew what kind of a judge I would pick or to be a justice, right? A justice of the Supreme Court. And I said, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to solve that problem? But, you know, I was in politics, never. Don't forget, when I ran, they said, no, he's inexperienced, you know. And I ran against some very talented people, some of whom are very good friends of mine, some of whom I don't like too much. You know, when I don't like somebody, it lasts for a long time. But I said, well, how do we solve that problem? I don't know. They just weren't believing. You know, the appointment of a United States Supreme Court justice was much more important to the voters than I thought. And they're right, because they will set policy for 50 years. They'll set policy, whether it's life, whether it's Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, if I weren't president, you know the pressure. Your Second Amendment would be obliterated. It would maybe be gone, but at a minimum, obliterated. They haven't touched your Second Amendment, not even touched it. Because I'm here to block. I'm a blocking force. I'm like a lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a blocking force. No, they haven't touched it. But your Second Amendment would be under siege. So nobody knew. I never knew. You know, you hear about Supreme Court. You know about Supreme Court. You know about other judges. By the way, at the end of the first term, we'll be close to 300 federal judges, including Court of Appeals, which I think is a record. I guess it's a record. It's a lot. That's a lot. Nobody's done that. And very important. No, it's a record. Think of that. 300. That's a big percentage of the entire judiciary. Think of that. 300. And many, many Court of Appeals judges, but 2 great Supreme Court judges or justices. And now we're going to get a third. Can you imagine our enemies? 3 in one term. So many presidents, they just don't have the chance, and it's so important. But I said to my people, I said, so if they don't believe me, what I'll do is I'll make up a list of 25 judges or people, and we'll tell them I will only pick from that list. They said, that sounds like an interesting idea. This was my idea. You have to be, you know, when you've never run for office before, you have to have a little bit of imagination. So I got out on a list. I named the people that I said, and I promise that I will pick someone like the people on this list. And it didn't work. It went nowhere because they didn't trust it. They didn't trust. They said, we want you to pick the people on the list, not somebody like the people on the list. So I went back the next week. I said, I will pick somebody that's on this list. And they were all great judges for the most part, I think almost entirely, but judges and really respected, conservative, believers in our country, solid, incredible people. And as soon as I did that, things went through the roof. It was amazing how important it was. By the way, would you stand up with that beautiful jacket? I love that. I love this guy. How many times, how many events? He's been to a couple. That's really great. Thank you very much. I've seen him before. He's been here a couple of times, like about 90. Thank you, man. That's really nice. I'm going to get one of those jackets. By the way, and you know the wall, yeah, 330 miles. 330 miles. 330 miles. And yes, we have a great relationship with Mexico. And, you know, they keep saying, yes. First they said he'll never be able to build it because I had the Democrats who were just rude. I made a terrible mistake. I said it last night. I should have said, we will not, under any circumstances, build a wall at our southern border. They would have given me all the money in the world. But stupidly, I said, we will build the wall. And the Democrats said, let's not give it to them. But we got it. We won. We won court cases. We won court cases. We won.
Chúng ta sẽ xây dựng những bức tường biên giới.
We could build 4 walls if we wanted. So then they said, all right. We've, you know, they've lost. I mean, so by the way, we're up to 330. The exact wall, they're dream choice. You know, I said to the Border Patrol, I love these people. They're great. ICE, the Border Patrol, what they do is incredible. They're incredible. I said, give me your dream wall. As long as we're building it, we might as well build the wall that you want. Let's build it right. Sir, we have to have vision. We need steel and concrete. I said, how about one or the other? They said, no, sir, we need steel and concrete. We need steel, and inside, you know, inside those poles we have rebar and we have concrete, right? And they're 30 feet tall. We need all sorts of things. We need them to be, tell you why they're wired, but they're wired for a reason. They're all wired up, and they're incredible. But you know what? We got the wall. Nobody could have done it. So once we had the wall and it started going up, and then we hit 100 miles, 200 miles, now we're at 330, and we're building 10 miles a week. And it'll be finished very soon. And we have the most secure border in terms of drug trafficking coming along. And we've done phenomenally well because that's a lot of the territory that we need. We're going to go up to probably a little bit over 500 miles, so we're at 330. But once they saw that I had it, they said, yeah, but Mexico's not paying for it, okay? But they are paying for it. Mexico's paying for the wall. They are paying for it. They're paying at the border. They're paying for the wall. You know, all those trucks that go back and forth. They're paying for the wall. So the Democrats said, yeah, but Mexico, they always have to find something, right? And you remember what I used to say, that if they fight us, remember people would say, what happens if they fight you on the wall? What happens if they fight you right to hell on the wall? I said, the wall would get 10 feet taller. Do you remember that? Took a little hit on that. We took a little bit of a hit, but that's okay. The wall is a tall sucker. You don't want to get up to the top. They look down, they say, oh, yeah, how do we get down there? It's tall and it's strong and it's great. And we appreciate it because Mexico has been working with us very closely. They have right now 27,000 Mexican soldiers on our southern border, making sure that people don't come into our country. I want to thank the President of Mexico. Very helpful. So I made this list of potential justices, and I'll tell you, it all changed. Now I'm asking Sleepy Joe Biden to give me a list. And he doesn't want to do it. You know why? Because he can only put super radical left judges on people that would destroy your country. People that would destroy your country. And he knows that he's not electable. He shouldn't be electable anyway. You know, he's the worst candidate. You know where he is today? They have a thing called the lid. I don't even know. Do you know what lid stands for? Lid. He put out a lid today early in the morning. Lid means he's not going to be anywhere today. I'm working my ass off. I'm in Ohio, I'm in Texas, I'm in Florida, I'm in Michigan. I'm in Wisconsin. That's so nice. Well, that is something that one of the fake news reporters back there, they said they'd never heard of that one. There's a chant that's going on the last 6 or 7 rallies saying, "We love you." That's never happened to a politician before. Am I a politician? I don't want to be a politician. I don't think of myself as a politician, but it really is. I appreciate it. And I don't think it, I've never heard it. I like Ronald Reagan, but they never said we love you. Maybe they did. They're going to try and find out. Then they'll say, President Trump lied last night. Because 40 years ago, I remember. But no, nobody's ever heard that one before. And I appreciate it because it is reciprocal. Thank you very much. Reciprocal. Reciprocal love. It's reciprocal. I had such a nice life before I did this. I had such a nice life. Then I had the witch hunt that goes on forever. It goes on. And then we catch them spying on our campaign. How about that? Think about it. Let's see what happens, though. But we caught them spying. All of that, you know, the whole big deal. And then the guys that were doing the investigation, they have their 31 different phones. They were accidentally wiped clean. 31 different phones. I think it was like 19 different people. And they all did the same exact accident, which if you knew anything about phones, it's almost an impossibility to do it once, let alone 31 different times. So we caught them, and that's called obstruction. We have to remember, that's called obstruction. That was the Mueller group. That was the Mueller group. All those phones, they were wiped so clean. And you know, Hillary got a subpoena on the 33. I said, forget about these things, because you'll find them. They have them. They're in the State Department. I have no doubt about it. They're in the State Department. But they'll get them. But you know what? 33,000. They have a request from the U.S. Congress. That's not bad. U.S. Congress, they want to send a subpoena. Very, very important. And after getting the subpoena, she deleted all of her emails and acid wash, and then she took her telephones. I've gotten rid of phones too. I threw them away, right? She took cameras and she beat that out of with her hand. And then threw them away. And they found a couple of them. They were not in a pretty. She was very angry, obviously, if she did the hammer work. But if anyone else did this, see, there's a protection. There's a dual level of justice, but we're getting down to the bottom of it because it's not fair to us. Not fair to us. She deleted them on the basis, 33,000 emails. She deleted them on the basis that it was all about her daughter's wedding, Chelsea, and also yoga classes. Right? 33,000 emails on yoga and a wedding. I don't think so. And Comey said, oh, that's okay. That sounds like a good reason. That's Comey. That's another beauty right there. That Comey. Well, we caught him. We caught him. Very smart move. Getting rid of that guy was a smart move. But we caught him. Listen, we caught him. They were spying on the campaign. They were doing actually worse than that. But nobody's ever done a thing like this. So let's see what happens. But we caught him cold. We got so much stuff. Remember the insurance policy, right? From Struck and Page, two lovers. You know, they were very smart. They would use the public servers. They'd send it over the public wires because they didn't want to be caught having an affair, so they went over the public. That was a very good thing for us, wasn't it? Darling, 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 please. She's going to win. She's going to win, isn't she? Peter, only you can save us. Peter, she's going to win. Yes, darling, she's going to win. I know. 100,000 to nothing. Remember that? Actually, it was actually 100 million to 1. So this was 100 million to 1. This is this idiot. So listen. So darling, please tell me again. Yes, 100 million to 1 she's going to win. But just in case she doesn't, we have an insurance policy. Now that only means one thing. And we went through the insurance policy and we caught them. So let's see what happens to these treasonous crooks, these terrible people. And they put our nation through turmoil. But I just want to thank a lot of people were very unfairly treated. You look at General Flynn, look, he's still going through it. Can you believe it? But a lot of people were unfairly treated by a bunch of treasonous, horrible people. And they used the intelligence agencies of our country to try and steal an election and to try and do a coup. When you think, I mean, who would ever think this country, but that's all you can say. I mean, some people would say, well, that's a conspiracy theory. No, just take a look at the records. So it's just a very exciting, for me, it's a very exciting thing because we found something that nobody would have thought possible. Now let's see what happens. But we have them called. They spied on our campaign. It's our campaign. And if you want to save America, you have to go out, get out, and vote. This is the most important election. In just 3.5 years, we've secured America's borders, which makes them very unhappy. Rebuilt the awesome power of the U.S. military. We built a military. It was totally depleted when I took over. We built a military. $2.5 trillion we spent, all made in the USA, the greatest equipment, the greatest planes and rockets and missiles, and our nuclear. I hate to even mention the word, but, and hope to God we never have to use it, but we have the most powerful weapons in the history of the world. And we did that over a very short period of time. Weapons that are so powerful that we're the envy of the world, but I never want to use those weapons, and hopefully we'll never have to. You know the way you don't have to use it is when you have them. It's when you have them, but nobody's ever built a force like what we have. And you know, the newspapers and the press and the fake news, they went and said, he just gave away classified information. I said, no, I will look you right in the eye. Let me tell you, first of all, I'm allowed to do it. I'm the president, so I'm allowed to. I'm the only one that's allowed to. But no, I didn't give away. I'm just telling you, most powerful weapons ever produced, we have. And other countries know that. And it's a good thing that they know it. And I don't think we'll ever be using them. And I hope we don't. I hope to God. I use the word God because they refuse to use the word God in their Pledge of Allegiance, right? Twice. I use the word God. I hope to God we never have to use them. But I obliterated the ISIS caliphate, which was all over the place, 100%. Remember, I got it down to 99%. They said, you got to go 100. I said, let's get out of here. We're bringing them all back home. Everyone's coming back home. Long wars. The never-ending wars, right? The endless wars. We fixed our disastrous trade deals. They were a disaster. Brought jobs and factories back to Pennsylvania under 16 years. And think of this. For 16 years, presidents, Obama, President Bush, household income rose $2,945, right? That's over a 16-year period. In 3 years, your household income rose almost $10,000 when you include energy. You have to include energy. Without energy, almost $7,000. But we have to include energy. I mean, how much are you paying for your gasoline? You never saw $2 gasoline. You're less, right? It's less. They go up, it's less. Now it's a big difference. What is it nowadays? Come on, tell me. I haven't got any gas. I haven't stopped recently at a gas station. 15? Okay. Because for a while it was way under 2. And we're going to keep it there. We have so much. In my first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction in the history of our country, by far. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and right now we're doing it again. You know, I see all these hats. Make America great again. And I'm going to say this, make America great again, again. Make America great again, again. We saved 1.4 million jobs in Pennsylvania alone. And to fight the China virus, it's the China virus, not the coronavirus. Corona sounds like a place in Italy, a beautiful place. It's Corona. No, it's the China virus. They don't want to say it. You know, the radical left, they don't want to say it. You ever notice they're always going after Russia? Look, nobody's been tougher in Russia than me, but you say, Russia, Russia, Russia. I said, what about China? They never want to mention it. You know, you got little deals going on, I think. But coronavirus, doesn't it sound like Italy? A beautiful villa, you have a beautiful Corona. No, it's a China virus. We should have stopped it. To fight the China virus, we launched the largest national mobilization since World War II. We did an A+ job, except we did a D job in terms of public relations explaining it because we were too busy doing it. But the fact is, they wouldn't have written it anyway. It didn't matter to them. It's their little thing. You ever watch Biden? He can't talk about anything, so he gets up. The coronavirus. They say, we want to talk about Supreme Court judges today. Well, I don't know about that. The coronavirus. And he doesn't know we did a great job. He has no clue. He said, I should have opened. No, he goes, I should have shut down 1 week earlier. What he doesn't say is he did the worst job in the history of an epidemic or a pandemic with the swine flu. It was a joke. And what he did, his own man that was in charge said recently, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. It was a total disaster.